Here's where I think somebody might feel sort of scared, which is you sound really sophisticated. I mean, in the last 2+ years that we've known each other, you've come so far in terms of your comfort zone. I can hear the confidence in you. You're telling me this business model. And if I'm sitting here listening to this for the first time, I'm thinking to myself, well, this sounds overwhelming. So let me start with the sort of take me back through the process of your experience. How much real estate experience did you have before you got into this? Remind everybody of that. Let's go ahead and just kind of talk about it from the beginning. How long ago did you start?
Well, I started in late November, and so with Thanksgiving and everything else, we then really started in December.
Wow, so just 2 months, really?
Yes,
wow.
Yes, not nearly a week now, yes.
That's exciting. So, obviously, the best and my biggest question is, how is it going? Tell me if what type of results have you experienced so far?
About a dozen houses on contract to sell.
You have a dozen houses already under contract?
Well, to be specific, it's 15 now.
So you literally shortchanged yourself by 20 to 22%-ish of your deals because it's going that well, right? So you're rounding down, there's so many. How many hours a week are you committing?
I'm full-time, so I probably commit at least 40 hours, but in your own business, there's no such thing as, a certain set time. So you work whenever when you need to work. So I'm more focused on mastering the business because I know the money will come, the paycheck will come, and it will come big. The idea is to make sure you get it right. And so we're working together to do that. It's all about the experience and navigating and articulating the whole situation. And yes, I am looking forward to the first paycheck, but I know it will come.
I'm very impressed with what you've done. So congratulations. I'm thrilled for you. And thank you again for your time here with us. And hopefully we'll speak with you again in the next few months and get an update from you. Would you be open to that?
Absolutely.
So we had a lot of people excited about your last video because you had already put 15 deals into contract, right?
Yes.
And Michael and I have talked a lot about what he thinks and shares are what the statistical potential is of active affiliates inside the Pink Houses model. And he's always talking about $15,000 to $30,000 per month. And so I'm sitting here thinking to myself, man, this math is great for most people in order to level up their income. So here we are, we're 5 months in basically now, right?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me, number one, how is everything going so far?
Well, the state of union is strong, it's vibrant, and it's most rewarding in every sense of the word, at every level. So since I came back from Singapore in the middle of February, I started putting my head down and started working on the properties that we had contracted on. So in about 2 weeks, we got a buyer and we closed a deal. And back to back in April, we had another one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So within the one in late March and one in beginning of April. In fact, April we did 2 deals. So,
oh, wow. So you have 3 deals under your belt now?
Yes. And we're in the middle of negotiating 2 right now. And one of them at the moment, the papers have gone out and it's a full price offer, which is wonderful. And it's like $659,000, which is pretty high end here for Atlanta at this point in time. So that will be our highest value house at the moment.
Would that be your highest takeaway, your proceeds as well?
I imagine we haven't done the transaction yet, haven't put the deal together yet, but the buyer's just putting the offer in right now. So then we'll work out what the transaction will be.
Can we ask what your total revenues are so far?
Well, the total revenue, the first transaction was $23,400.
That was your takeaway?
Yes.
Wow.
Second one was $21,200. Wow. And the third one is $32,000. I have to qualify. I have to qualify the third one, and this is the gift working with Pink, because most of us are kind of part-time investors anyway before we came on. So I have to qualify the third one. I had help from Pink, but it is a private deal that I had as an investor before on one of my previous properties. So the gift working with Pink is that they're so willing, the management, to share and give you good advice on some personal deals as well. So I managed to do that one as well. But just Pink itself was 2 deals at about $44,000.
Holy smokes. Okay, so 44,000 plus the 32. So we're getting near 80K if you're counting that third. How does that measure up to what your expectations were coming in for the first 5 months of being in business?
Okay. In terms of the reward, it blew my mind. Because you know that when we got into Pink, we were always told that the minimum fee is $10,000, right? So as babies, we just think if we get $10,000 for a deal, it's great. So did I think that I was going to get over $10,000? I didn't. So I was overwhelmed. I was surprised.
How much money do you expect to make with Little Pink over the first year?
Well, I was hoping it was going to be $1 million and I get $500,000. That was what my goal was. However, the first few months has been a very steep learning curve. I think conservatively, I think if you go full time, you should be able to make $250,000 to start.
Great. So that would be first year. And then you think second year, well above that because your learning curve is beyond you at that point.
So let's just say that because I was away for a month, right? Remember, I started in November, December.
That's right.
And then there was stop-start because of the Christmases. And then I went away for a month and then came back in the middle of February.
So technically speaking, you're really closer to about between 3 and 4 months, right?
Seriously working, yes. Yeah. Seriously working, yeah. Not as long as I had hoped.
Sure.
But understand that as we build the business, the experience itself is the greatest teacher. So unless
for sure.
You can have a whole group of all these Olympic people, Olympic standard people, geniuses helping you. But if you don't do the groundwork and you don't get the experience is going to be the greatest teacher of all. This is quite funny because I say that in our experience, it literally took us 6 to 8 houses for us to learn how to get a marketable property. Because most of our properties in the beginning were overpriced and we didn't know it was overpriced. Remember, we were like babies. We were clamoring for whatever we can get and we were so happy, right? We didn't argue, we didn't rationalize, we didn't do anything to make sure that they are marketable properties. So for example, one property was an investor. We had 3 contracts with him and his contract was delayed with the way he was rehabbing and it was so badly done, had so many problems. In the end, we had to terminate him. So we lost 3 contracts there. A couple of contracts, the guys were running out of time because they were going through foreclosure and they were owing hard loan money, and then they were running out of time and they couldn't wait for us to have the 3 months to sell it, and so they decided to rent the property. So there were things that we weren't in control of and that we didn't know at that time.
And this, having been in the real estate world for so long is exactly what you would want to expect. In whatever field you choose in real estate, this is exactly how I've seen it go, right? Whether you want to be a retail agent or a mortgage broker, these are the kinds of experiences you should expect. And I'm just impressed by the fact that you're in the tens of thousands of dollars in revenue stage within the first technically 3.5 months worth of effort. It's impressive. It's I think comparably a very, very solid outcome based on, do I get involved in this business or do I get involved in this business over here? I would say that is a very impressive collection of results for the amount of money you put in so far. The return on your investment is obviously working out. I continue to be impressed and proud of what you're doing. I also, want to acknowledge that, results do vary and people could come in and they might find a really great system for building a team that generates, 5 times what you've managed to in 3.5 months. Or you might have the exact opposite happen where somebody makes the same investment you do and they don't have a single deal in the first 3.5 months. So I appreciate that there are some definite variables involved here, but I like the evidence. I want to keep seeing evidence. And I would hope that you're comfortable coming back again. I like this kind of ongoing, let's check in after your first year and see how, the last 12 months went. I guess what I really want to try and get from you today, Tom, is number 1, how has the last 13 months gone for you? Number 2, are some of those reassurances about this model being recession-proof in a sense true? Is that what you're seeing also?
So let me take the first question first. Okay, how has my year been? Through a roller coaster year of exhilarating highs, exhilarating successes, it is combined with challenges. And I have to say that some of these challenges were quite daunting at certain times. So the discovery is that this is a huge foundational year for me of learning about the market, learning how to put our product together. to suit the market, because every market's different, and Atlanta is unique on their own market because we have a lot of investors. So when I compare what other people are doing, other affiliates, they might have more lease purchases than I do because we have a lot of investors. So I have a lot of deals that were done that are not exactly a lease purchase, but because we're a real estate investment company, we have the minds behind it to put deals together and make a lot of deals work as well. Discovery this year of my strengths and weaknesses, discovery of the strengths and weaknesses of my team and how they, managed to put the blueprint to work as well. But, throughout all the challenges that we've had this year, the biggest thing for me after this year is this what I want to do? That's a big question. Is this what I want to do? And I have to face it. This is what I want to do for the rest of my time. And I got the biggest confirmation for myself that there is no better organization that I want to do this with than with Pink.
Really?
Now, why I say that, and I don't say that lightly.
Well, yeah, that's a big statement.
It's a big statement. And it's a very important part of my life because this is probably will be the last work I'll have before, in my twilight years, okay, I've decided this is my last vacation. The brilliant team of coaches and the management team were always in the trenches with me. And that's a big deal for me. They were always ever ready with unrelenting support, non-judgment, always kind and loving. And it's through the difficult times, when everybody's making money, it's always easy to be a family. But when you're going through the difficult times and some dark times when we had some really difficult buyers that I had to evict a family out after 4 months, and that was painful. Wow. To evict somebody in my first year. And this doesn't happen to everybody in the first year. So I got a lot of bumps along the way. But through these dark times, I found a true family in Pink because they were always so kind to me. I must have been a pain many times, but never a harsh word. So having found this true family in Pink, it's really personal to me, Matthew. And I don't say that lightly because I am on my own in the United States. All my family's overseas. So there's always this thing about being on your own. Do you want to be here or do you want to go back to Australia to be with my family?
Yeah, especially now. Especially now,
yes. And also, so through this, having found Pink was truly a family to me throughout the good times and the bad times, yeah, that's a big deal for me. And it's personal.
Wow. That's heavy.
It is heavy. And the other heavy thing that I like to share with the audience, only with the view to be encouraging, this is a business. It's not easy. So the first year is really a lot of learning. And I made it through. I made good money out of it. Not as much as the $250,000 that I was projecting, but I didn't anticipate the amount of learning that I had to do. So I always believe the song that says, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And that's exactly what it is. At the end of the day, I only worked 7 months out of the 12 months, Matthew. And I worked very hard the 7 months. And the reason I beg your pardon?
Can I ask what you earned?
Yes, a total of 135,000, 9 transactions, 135,000. One of those transactions was 30,000, was not strictly a Pink transaction. It's one of my own personal real estate transactions, but with the help of Pink and advice, I was able to get through that one too, but still within the Pink year. Okay. So even though I only worked for 7 months, the other 4 months, sometime in August, September last year, well, the truth is that I am a recent stage 4 cancer survivor. So last year was my 5th year.
I'm aware of that.
Wow, yeah. It's supposed to be a secret, but not anymore. So I was working through.
Thank you for trusting us with that information.
You're welcome. It was my 5th year. I was feeling great. I was like a miracle for the doctors that I survived, and I survived so well. It was my 5th year. I was feeling great. I was going all the way out with Pink, built a team and did all that. And I was really on the go because I think I'm conquering the whole world, But they withdrew some drugs from me last year because it was my 5th year. And unbeknown to them, it threw me into the deep end. So there were a lot of complications. So I had to go back for treatment, and it took probably till January, from September till this January, for me to really get well again. I was feeling really bad those few months. In fact, I turned up at the oncologist and told him I just want to die. That was how bad it was. And they took action straight away because they said that I just don't look the same the minute I walked in, because I was kind of like, success, that I did so well, you know, and I don't look like I have cancer at all. They took action, fast action. They monitored me, looked after me for a good few months, and I didn't do very much work. So January I came back and I'm feeling really good, and I'm starting to rebuild my body again and rebuild my strength, which is really the hardest. Having to rebuild your strength again is the hardest.
Yeah, that's
so surely I'm very grateful for life, for what I did in the 7 months, 9 transactions, $135. Hey, listen, I'm very, very happy. I'm very grateful. Every morning I get up, I'm grateful. So I just want to say that I just want to share that purely for the purpose of encouraging everybody else. If you are able and willing, a willing and able body, then you can do so much more than I can. I learned a lot of lessons last year too, that I will do things differently this year. So I'm going to change my model in the way I do business, because do I want to kill myself with the way I was working, taking advantage, thinking that I'm in my good health? And there was a lesson to me that I need to roll back. I need to work a lot smarter now that I've learned the business, what to do and what I shouldn't do. So I'm changing my model this year to make it easier for me, because I need to look after my body. This is my second cancer experience, and there's no way to go after stage 4.
Well, I'm so thrilled to hear about, your health recovery.
Thank you.
We're a big fan of you here, so thank you so much for joining me again. And we'll just make a date of it next year, this time. What do you say?
That would be lovely. Well, first of all, Matthew, I want to say thank you for letting me come onto the channel again. It is such a wonderful surprise to hear from you, and that I'm so looking forward to sharing with you all the changes that are happening in Pink and with us. And the reason why I'm so excited is basically the question you ask. What are the 2 most exciting things that happened? Now, in the last year or so, 6 months to a year, the real estate market has changed dramatically. Yeah. And what I love about Pink is that we're not a one strategy company. All right. Anytime there's a buyer and seller and they're willing to put a deal together, we will find a way to put the deal together, because we have the real estate specialists behind us, right? Many, many years of experience. So what I have experienced the last 6 months to a year is that I have not just been doing executive lease purchase. The market demand has asked me to sell properties outright.
Okay.
So for example, and so now I've done half my properties now in the last year has been what I call FSBO flips. Okay, FSBO flips means that for sale by owner flips, and we're flipping just like in the wholesale context, but we're flipping beautiful houses, retail houses, and pretty houses. Right. So for example, we have people come to us and say, all right, we want to do executive lease purchase. The seller wants to sell it, okay, as a lease purchase. They're able to wait for the money, but sometimes the properties doesn't sell as a lease purchase. And sometimes people say to us, oh, we love the property so much, we just want to buy it outright. Can we do that? Yes, that's the easiest. We can do that. We just get the lawyers to do the paperwork and we sold it. So we're finding that a lot of sellers now, even if they don't want to do a lease purchase, and I tell them, well, what would you like to do the property? Oh, we want to sell it outright. Yes, we can do it too. And so we then take on the property under the same conditions, as in taking over the property and being the marketer for them. And we just sell it to the direct buyer. We just wait for 2 months for the lending process to complete. And it's just like a traditional sale. Okay. So can you see now that we can cater to the market, whatever the market wants?
And let's talk about the market real quick, if you don't mind. I dove into this in detail with Michael's video as well. I really want to ask the hard-hitting questions. That's why, again, not having Michael on this call is so important, because, I don't want anybody to think that we're just trying to steer it his direction. What about the inventory? Is that helping you in that situation where you've been able to sort of traditionalize the process in an out-of-the-box way, so that as the ebb and flow of the business, which happens in every single business, ask any business owner over the last 15 months, is that something that you think has contributed towards to your ability to overcome the inventory issue? Because I think that would be one of my biggest concerns coming into this, is that the inventory sucks right now.
Yes, there's no doubt that is an issue. However, we've been able to have Pink and the market combating the market issues in an intertwining way. So we have moved with the market. So instead of just offering people executive lease purchase on our phone with our sellers, if they don't want to do that, we ask them, what do you want to do? They want to sell outright? Yes, we can do that. We can do that without the realtors commission. We can market for you. We do all the work for you. We do all the showing. We do all the marketing, and we sift out all the buyers, and we negotiate for you, and we present you the offer that you want. Okay, so whatever we make on top of that, whatever the agreed price is what we make. That's the risk we take, okay?
Yeah.
It depends on how savvy we are. It's no different to wholesaling, right? All the sellers want is they want their money.
Yeah.
And they tell you what they want. If I can give you what you want, do you really care how much more money I make?
No, of course
I could
not.
make 5, I could make 20. Things may get very complicated. I could make 30. So
Right.
I had a deal last year. I closed just before December, Christmas Eve. I closed on Christmas Eve, where the property was a retail property. But there's so many problems with the property. I couldn't sell it to just any retail person, and they didn't want to do ELP. But in the end, we got an investor company to buy it, and we made $37,000 out of it. Because the realtors have tried to sell it twice. So for the whole year, it couldn't sell because there were issues with the house, okay? And it wouldn't pass inspection. So it's one of those quasi properties. So if they kept it with the realtors, they'll never be able to sell it because realtors need the property to be in a certain condition and to pass inspection. In the end, we got a property company that came in and said, we'll pay $245 for it. And we made $37,000 out of it. Did I get realtors to help me? Yes, realtors did bring in their buyers, and I did get a realtor to help me. And so we just pay them. At the end of the day, we still make a great $25,000, right? So there was room for that. So that's how it started with the market. Was not a lot of houses, and we start to be a little creative. Now, the other thing that came into the market is because houses are hard to get, we now offer that we can sell traditionally for you, okay? They think we're realtors, but we're not, because we're telling them how we do it. There'll be no commission. There'll be no listing agent, buyer's agent's fee, 6%. We just make what we make on top of it.
Remind everybody how long you've been with Pink.
Yes, I've been with Pink since February, since November 2018. But I remember I went to Singapore and I didn't start till February when I came back, and that was the first video I did with you. So that's 2019, 2021, just over 2 years now. Okay. So I have gone from executive lease purchase and into meeting what the market needs, and now going to physical flips, which is like wholesaling retail properties, which is like selling it traditionally. Okay.
And here's where I think somebody might feel sort of scared, which is, you sound really sophisticated. I mean, in the last 2+ years that we've known each other, you've come so far in terms of your comfort zone. I can hear the confidence in you. You're telling me this business model. And if I'm sitting here listening to this for the first time, I'm thinking to myself, well, this sounds overwhelming. So let me start with the sort of take me back through the process of your experience. How much real estate experience did you have before you got into this? Remind everybody of that.
Okay, so I came from Australia and I started working here probably about 1 year before I came with Pink. I wanted to get into real estate, but I know nothing about real estate, know nothing about Atlanta, don't even like driving the highways, don't know where the highways are, don't know where they lead to, right? So I thought I decided that I'll get a coach, a real estate investment coach. So I had the coach for 1 year, and during that 1 year, we did a lot of wholesaling. That's all they start is wholesale, distressed properties, right? So we did that for a year, did very well out of it. However, when it started to me doing my own distressed properties, I started to feel, I feel the dangers of being out there. In the distressed property areas, and they're usually a little scarier, and I don't want to carry a gun, and I drive a nice car, I don't want to drive a bomb, And so learning that, I decided that when I got to know Pink, that I'm going to be wholesaling pretty properties through the executive lease purchase. I thought, how wonderful. I'm getting to do all the things I love doing without all the dirty stuff that I don't like, crawling under the crawl space. And, executive lease purchase with Pink was the perfect thing. I get to make an income up front. I get to make a cash flow in between through the rental income. I get to have back-end equity. And also, at the end of the day, it's like I'm a property manager, I'm a landlord, but without all the stuff that those people have to do. So I found that with this strategy, there's 5 profit centers. Okay, so it depends on how you work the 5 profit centers. It could be very lucrative. And the best thing is we're helping most of those people out there who are not able to get a home. So the joy in these faces, every time they close, do a closing room, they're always so happy and so thankful that we really help them to get a home. Now, with this change in the market, now, for example, I had a house that I did an executive lease purchase for the lady, right? So putting a beautiful tenant in there. And then she got married and her new husband had a house. She said, Tan, I want you to sell that house for me. I can't do a lease purchase, but can you just sell it for me? I said, yes, I can. Well, I just make $28,000 out of selling that property.
So how much do you think you'll make this year?
Well, I'm slowing down a little bit this year because I'm not looking at making, this year I'll make $250,000. Okay.
Wow.
But that's
how much time do you invest to make that?
Well, I'm part-time at the moment. And I have to say that because the other half of that money, probably less half the money, is going to come from another source of income at corporate jobs. Okay. But most of it will come from my real estate. I don't really want to do this day and night. It's very consuming. And I'm not at the stage that I want to do that. I'm not at the stage. Yeah.
So does the model fit somebody who does not have experience in real estate and somebody that does not have the time to commit full time? Does it still fit that person to get involved with this business model?
My short answer is yes, because I'm working part-time at the moment. All right. And last year I only did something like 8 houses. Okay. Because I was not well for half a year and I still did very well out of it, just $180,000. Now this year I'm deliberately giving myself a quota because I don't want to work as hard. I just want it to be easy. So I'm working part-time at the moment because I have another corporate job at the moment.
Fair to assume that
the answer is yes. Yeah. Yes. But the caveat is you've got to give yourself time to learn. So you can't expect
work harder in the beginning. You work harder in the beginning, right?
Yeah, you work hard in the beginning, put in 20 hours, 15, 20 hours, but don't look at it as, oh, what did I get after 6 months? This is a long-term thing, okay? So I would say give it at least 3 to 5 years if you're doing part-time to even become a master of the art.
Right. We've had a lot of people on the channel that are involved with Pink, and they all say the same thing. I mean, it's a common thing that...
Yeah, you've got to give it the time to learn, right? And especially if you're doing part-time. Yeah, like everything else. You're not going to get an engineering degree if you don't go for classes for 4 years or 3 years, whatever it is, maybe here. To all the students out there who want to do this, anyone who want to do this, I say don't focus on the end result. Focus on your learning, your education, and the doing. The end result will come. The money will come when you get it right. I think too many people are just focusing on how much money I will make and what I'm not making. I think you're setting yourself up for failure there because you're not focusing on the right thing. Okay. True. You have a whole host of people. Now, this Pink Academy thing, for example, I learned to do subject to. I'm selling traditionally, right? I'm doing ELPs. Half my sales now are selling traditionally. And I'm learning so much. And we even have, recently we had a mastermind session, 2 days for all the affiliates.
Yeah, actually a couple of videos popped into my little text thread that Michael Matthew was sending me some really, really nice videos. Really made my day, honestly.
Exciting is that it's continuous learning is what we're promoting. I'm a trainer, so I promote continuous learning. So we're going to keep putting all these workshops out there. Now you think of the many people you've heard of who go to Las Vegas for a course, real estate course. They're so excited. They pay $50,000. What do they get out of it at the end of the day? A big zero. What do you get out of us? Continuous learning, right? Training. You actually do deals. We support you. Our coaches are world class. They come with 30, 40 years of real estate experience. Give them anything and they can put a deal if there's money and there's willingness to do it. So, what we charge is nothing compared to so many other people who pay so much and don't get anything out of it. So look at it. You get 2 years of training, in different real estate strategies, even in things that we don't teach. You can come to us. We've got experts that can work on it.
So I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to make sure, because I talked about all of the ins and outs of Pink with Michael. And with you, I like to get sort of an insider scoop because it's not a we for me with you first. It's you're a client and here's what your experience has been. And what has, in my opinion, impressively graduated or evolved from this is a relationship where you can then say we, and you're now you're internal now. And to me, that speaks volumes. I think sometimes that can be picked apart where people start to think, oh, this is more from a sales agenda standpoint, which is not what I want from you. What I want from you is Tell me what it was actually like in the trenches before you were able to even start with some form of a part-time position in headquarters.
Yeah. You might recall in the previous videos, I did say the first year was very tough on me.
Yeah.
Okay, the first year was really tough. Anything that bad could happen, it happened to me. So it's up to be me. I had to evict tenants. I was just nice. I was paying their rent for them. So I learned the hard way. And I even got sick. Remember I told you that I got sick for several months and I recovered. Then I had to relook at what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Even the team thing, I had to reduce my team because they were consuming so much of my energy. Okay, so let me tell you this. My business comes first. My affiliation comes first.
Right.
If my affiliation suffers, I will walk away from corporate if that takes my time. The training is just a fun thing for me to do. I do it naturally. I don't have to prepare anything. It's my business. I train, and I'm a natural trainer. I've been a licensed trainer in Australia. So that doesn't consume much of me at all. So it's a fun thing for me to do. But if my business suffers, and I know where my bread is buttered, is in my business.
Gotcha.
And if my business suffers, I walk away from corporate. That job is not, it's not a conflict of interest per se, because I need business.
If I was listening to you and this interview, I wouldn't be, I don't think I would be concerned about your role at corporate more than impressed by it, only because I think it speaks volumes. Why would you go work for corporate in a company that you haven't been impressed enough by within your own business to agree to do that? It wouldn't make any sense. However, I can.
Contradiction. It'd be a contradiction in terms, because if I don't produce the results and be able to train every month to tell people these are the deals I've done, then where is your substance?
100%.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure for those that come through this and end up on the other side of it, which is a more suspicious aspect where they're like, oh, this is somebody that has something to gain by coming out here and sharing her perspective. I don't look at it that way. And frankly, I didn't even know you worked for corporate.
It only started this year. It only started a few months ago, so it's not.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't bother. I'm happy that you are, but I do want it to speak to the authenticity of this video, because we are not filled in, so to speak. You didn't know what I was coming in to ask you today, and I didn't know that you even worked for them in the first place. So I'm glad you cleared that up, because you kept saying we, and I'm like, well, you're not charging. Well, yeah, I guess in a sense, but you don't. She has nothing to gain or lose by this other than being.
And let me tell you why. And let me tell you why I did the training session, because I want to help the affiliates, because I probably know the most in the marketplace, and I want to help the other affiliates become successful. So in the training program, I have built in a new system. I've built in 6 modules, which follows on from the main training, so that the affiliates can work with me directly for 6 weeks to get clarity on the concept, how to get off the ground. That's how I help them.
I think that's huge. Honestly, I think it's an incentive to sign up. If I were coming in off this video, I would want to work directly with you. I don't know if that's possible or not, but for those of you guys that are wanting more information, please reach out. You can email pink, like the color, like Tom's shirt, at Little Pink Houses of America. Nope, I apologize. Pink at VIPfinancialeducation.com. Yeah,
right.
One out there. So again, email pink at VIPfinancialeducation.com. Go ahead and put conversation in the subject line, and just shows us that you saw the video, and we'll make sure that Little Pink Houses takes great care of you. They definitely treat our audience with a certain level of love, I suppose. I'm not quite sure how to word it, but it seems like there's some preferential treatment happening. And
you will feel the love, okay? I'm spending 6 weeks with them, so you have to feel the love.
Oh, no question. Yeah. And I think that there's a camaraderie too from the audience that's come in from YouTube, which is, by the way, it started 2.5 years ago for us too. And the number of participants in the Pink that have come in and done so well, it just, I don't know. It's so exciting. I love watching people get their, have their lives changed because they tune into some free video on YouTube. It still blows me away. Anyhow, I know we've gone long as usual, because I could talk to you for hours and hours, Ton. You're always so honest. You have so many redeeming qualities. We just love you. I love you, and I cannot wait to keep doing this every year. We'll make a tradition out of it, and we'll just keep checking in with you, and we'll do something that no other YouTuber does, which is to actually provide follow-up content about somebody who continues to work hard. So if this is something you want to look further into, go ahead and shoot that email, pink at VIPfinancialeducation.com. Conversation in the subject line, first, last name, and phone number in the body. and Michael or his team will reach out to you. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you, Ton. You're the
Thank you
best.
so much. Thank you so much. It's lovely seeing you again.
What are your last couple deals? Let's go ahead and add them up. I've got the calculator in front of me right now.
Well, the last 2 deals were both FSBO flips. One of them was 38,000, and the other one was 27,000. I didn't expect that. It was unusual, but that was how it happened to be, because there were houses that was difficult for the realtors, and the realtors have tried it and couldn't make it work.
So between the 2 deals, yeah, $65,000 on those 2. So a 38 and a 27, correct?
38 and 27.
And it cost you how much?
It only
put them
cost
under
me
contract?
for one of the transaction. It cost me a transaction, a transaction loan that cost me $2,000, and then $1,500 for a legal fee. So that was $3,500 in all.
Got it. So just net, basically, I mean, you're still north of 60
Yes.
on those 2 deals?
Yes.
Oh.
And I'm very humbled
Are
by
you
it.
upset?
No, no. I'm very humbled by it because I didn't expect it. Come on, we don't expect it. If I could get 10, 15, 5, I'll grab it any day for a FSBO flip, right? It just so happened that circumstances are, and we learn to articulate the best for all parties. Yeah. In the end, nobody questions me how much I make or is unhappy because they're happy with what they're getting, you know.
Yeah,
so.
sure. Okay. So.